Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. These headphones aren't exactly the highest end set of headphones that Yamaha makes, but these do share a driver with the L700, which does get my hopes up by quite a bit. Thank you to Yamaha for making this review possible by sending me this demo unit. All thoughts and opinions are my own, so let's jump straight in with their build. Compared to the other Yamaha products I've reviewed, this one's unboxing experience is quite luxurious. It's a lot like the E700A's unboxing. After removing the outer sleeve, the box's flap is held with magnets, and upon opening it, reveals a card with a model name on it, which shows you the box contents on the other side. You'll see the rather large carrying case in the box, and it has all the literature under it. The hard carrying case should protect the headphones well when you're traveling with these. It has a nice soft feel to the surface and a leather-like texture on it. After unzipping the case, you'll see the headphones and a small storage section that holds a USB-C charging cable, 3.5mm auxiliary cable, and an in-flight adapter as well. The other side of the case has a little pocket you can keep visiting cards or boarding cards in. You have to handle these headphones to understand the sheer size of them. They're certainly not compact, and I don't see anyone using these for regular runs or walks. These seem more like the type of headphones you listen to at home to unwind in the evenings or take with you on flights or vacations. The overall build has got no compromises. The headband has a sturdy yet firm hold on your head when you wear it, and these have no plastic creaking noises when flexed. The ear cups are made out of a matte plastic finish and have Yamaha's 3 tuning fork logos on each cup with a copper accent. This same accent is found on the lower part of the headband, which can be extended to suit a comfortable size for most people. Thankfully, Yamaha has maintained tactile buttons on these headphones as they have with all their other products. You'll find a few on the right ear cup, which are a volume up and down button, a play and pause button, and a power button. And on the left ear cup, you'll find an ANC toggle button. Near it is the 3.5mm cable insert slot for when you want to listen to your audio via a cable. And there's a USB-C slot on the right ear cup for when you want to charge these. Despite being as large as they are, they only weigh in at 324 grams. And thanks to the soft plush cushions on the headband and ear cups, they make these very easy to leave on for hours on end. Even though these aren't leather, they have a similar look and feel to it. I did think that my ears would heat up while wearing these for prolonged periods of time, but I haven't yet faced any issues there. The ear cups are quite large and will definitely fit larger ears than mine without touching the inner fabric, since there is breathable room when I wear them. One more thing that's nice to have when you're traveling is the ear cups fold inward, so they can rest on you if or when you want to take them off, instead of them facing outward or not being able to collapse them at all. It's a small detail but goes a long way when you're traveling. These come with Bluetooth version 5.0, voice assistance, active noise cancellation, and I quite like the fact that they still use tactile buttons. Operating the functions on the buttons are fairly simple. Pressing the ANC button toggles between ANC on, off, and ambient mode. Pressing the volume up button once increases the volume. Pressing and holding it takes you to the next track. The volume down button reduces the volume, and pressing and holding it takes you to the beginning of the track or previous track once you're at the beginning of one. The play pause button does as it says and also works as an answer and end call button, and a quick double press will access your voice assistant. The power button switches the headphones on and off when pressed and held, but will tell you the approximate level of the battery when it's on and pressed once. Then it has app support. You can access its settings in the Yamaha Headphones app. It'll let you check and see if there's a firmware update, which you can do if it's necessary. It shows you the headphones battery level here, and you can toggle between listening care on and off, listening optimizer on and off, and I'll talk about these features in the chapter about sound. Then you can toggle between noise cancelling, ambient sound, and off modes here. You can also set the auto power off timer to a duration you prefer as well. The ANC will not shut out the world completely, but in essence it tries to do what ANC is supposed to do. It looks for droning sounds and tries to eliminate them. Now, it does reduce lower frequencies much better than higher frequencies, so things like my fan motor or even engine noises coming from the road next to my studio are eliminated pretty well. So I can see this working well in an in-flight kind of situation where it will cut out the lower frequencies of the engine when you're flying. Don't expect this to cut out sudden sounds like clapping, loud talking, or even a baby crying behind you. Now, this isn't exactly a scientific test, but here's a small demo to give you an idea of how this one's ANC would handle in an aircraft cabin or in other places that you would use these.
Noise cancel. Ambient sound. Off. Noise cancel. Noise cancel. Ambient sound. Off. Noise cancel.
The same microphones that handle your active noise cancelling and sound optimizer will also be contributing towards the environmental noise cancelling towards any phone calls you'll be making. So just to see how you would sound towards your recipient in a similar setting, here's a small demo. I usually do call demos at a busy street next to my studio, but I don't see anybody using these headphones on a busy street. So you're most likely to take calls on these if you're at the airport or in a restaurant waiting to board your flight. So we'll try and recreate the same situation with the restaurant noise, with the ambient noise. And this is roughly between 55 and 65 dB. 55 to 65 dB is the normal noise level you can experience from a crowded restaurant. So let's see how these manage in this kind of situation. If you are in a quiet environment, this is pretty much how it will sound to you. I have been on the camera microphone so far, just to give you an idea of what this sounds like. So I will shift over to the headphone right about now. So I am on the headphone microphone and I will play the ambient noise as well. So if you expect this kind of noise, so what I can do right now is I'll toggle between the camera microphone just to give you an essence of what this microphone is picking up in this kind of environment, and I'll toggle back to this microphone on the headphones to show you what the environmental noise cancelling is. So I do hope that these demos have given you a better understanding of what these headphones are all about, and I will see you in the chapter about sound. These come with 40mm dynamic drivers and support aptX adaptive, SBC and AAC codecs. They have a frequency response of as low as 8 Hz and go all the way up to 40,000 Hz, and they have a very easy to drive resistance of just 32 ohms. On a volume front, these benefit from Yamaha's listening care feature. What it does is it elevates the highs and lower frequencies at lower listening volumes so as to give you a rounded signal. Hopefully, this will make you avoid cranking the volume too high, which can damage your ears in the long run. Because people are usually looking for that sweet spot of sound, they're usually listening to headphones or earphones at a very high volume. This one's sweet spot begins down low at 5 to 10%, and you can go all the way up to even 50%, and it does remain balanced right through. With all the Yamaha products I've listened to so far, they have benefited from the listening care feature. With this one in particular, I find the listening care to be unnecessary because these headphones do produce a lot of bass without it. So I find the elevation a bit too much for me, so I like to leave it off. And at the same time, I don't find the need to go past 30% really. So I've been doing a lot of my testing with these headphones between 30 to 35%. And I wouldn't dare go and sit at 50% volume for too long because these get a little too loud for me. These drivers are definite heavy hitters when it comes to the volume and their bass. What the sound optimizer feature does is the microphones that are in this headphone are constantly checking to see what your environment situation is. So if it ever finds a little too much bleed in interfering with your music, certain frequencies, it tends to boost those as well. So it does work hand in hand with the listening care feature to a certain extent to give you the best optimized sound possible in the environment you're in. Soundstage on these is like most other closed back headphones. The width of them seems to be just at about the ear cup, but these have slight vertical stage. So the high frequencies do tend to seem like they're coming a little above my ears and the lows below them. There is good separation between the left and right channel, and the phantom channel is dead center. Imaging is quite good with these, and you get good detail recovery, so you can zone onto certain nuances without much effort. One thing to keep in mind though is that it can tighten and sharpen up when you listen to a good source via a cable, but I'll speak about this in a moment. High frequencies are handled with good definition, and these have a softness in their delivery. You can listen to any genre you want, and these always deliver without getting shrill or brittle, letting you use these for prolonged periods of time. There is a slight elevation in this range, but it stays clear of being sibilant with any vocals. Cymbal clashes, triangles, chimes or any high frequency percussion instrument come through cleanly with good timbre in this range. Listening to Dave Matthews Band's Crash Into Me, everything from the soft cymbal hits to the chimes lure you into this tantalizing piece of music. This range stays composed no matter what genre of music you throw at it, and these give you a sense of being a seasoned set of headphones that know exactly what they're meant to do and how to do it. Mid frequencies come to you in a more neutral plane than the highs, and it has a full bodied delivery whether you're listening to male or female vocals, despite it having a bit of a recess in the lower mids. Instruments in this range shine through without getting merged into the vocals. Thanks to this separation, it's enjoyable to listen to your favorite solos, be it vocals or your favorite guitar solo. They sit in the spotlight over and above the background music. Listening to The Winner Takes It All, performed by Phoebe Cates, her voice comes through with texture I didn't expect to hear with these headphones. Every breath she takes before giving this heartfelt performance is heard in good detail, with the instruments circling her voice without disrupting her delivery. This range remains well detailed and has good energy, never sounding like it'll have a lazy day. The low frequencies can be described with just 3 syllables: effortless. This range with these headphones is brought to you unlike other Yamaha products. Here, it's an authority figure and knows exactly how to run the show without tripping any other frequency range up. There's a dip in the lower mids and upper bass region, emphasizing the sub-low frequencies, and has an extension that portrays itself as the foundation of these headphones. It's one of the more prominent things you notice when you first listen to them for certain. For older recordings, it's got a prominent bass line in songs that usually don't sound like they have that much going on in them. I see a lot of people appreciating this kind of bass response thanks to it being full-bodied and having a certain level of tightness to it. Listening to one of my go-to tracks for dance music, Cafe de Flore by Dr. Rocket, it's presented as a larger-than-life track with these headphones, which in fact do justice to it. You can throw any dance music or watch movies with these, and this is one range I don't see disappointing most people. So that's how these headphones sound in a wireless setup, but the box has a little high-res logo, implying that these drivers can in fact handle high-resolution audio. So I decided to plug these into my desktop setup and see how well these handle a better source file than running on wireless. These put on a slightly different face when playing from a better source over a cabled connection. The imaging gets tighter, stage gets slightly better defined, wider and vertical stage gets a little more prominent. They can carry a lot more information over to you when in this cabled setup. So if you happen to have a portable high-res player, these will give you a richer experience than over Bluetooth for sure. Something I did notice with these when on Bluetooth, whenever you put the listening care on, the bass is boosted significantly, which can be a little too much for me, and it does have a lighter boost with the listening optimizer. There is also quite a boost in the bass when you switch to the ANC for some reason. This also occurs when you're listening to these through cable. I don't think these really needed a bass boost even with the listening care at lower volumes, because these drivers just seem extremely bass happy. Now, I don't enjoy enormous amounts of bass, but I can see this kind of tuning to put massive grins on a lot of people's faces. Another thing I noticed is I think that these are running some form of DSP, because when I plugged it into my amplifier to listen originally, these sounded very boxy and hollow. In fact, it didn't sound as nice as when it did when I was listening to it over Bluetooth. So I discovered that these headphones were completely off, but when I switched them on and continued to listen to music, all of a sudden it cleaned itself up thoroughly. It's almost like the imaging stepped up a notch. So it is a good thing to know that you can use these even if the battery dies completely, but I think these are best listened to with them on. You can have your ANC off and all the other settings off, but if you are listening to these through a cable, I think it's best to have the headphones on to ensure that they sound their absolute best. So to sum up, on a build and comfort front, I'm pretty impressed with these, because most headphones tend to start complaining a bit when I do the bend test. This one hasn't creaked at all. I think these are definitely long-term headphones. And the materials used on the headband and the ear cups are very soft and comfortable. Now, I haven't experienced any heat on these yet because it is much cooler right now. It's not gotten too hot just yet, but maybe in hotter months it is a possibility. But if you are using this at home or in the office where there's an AC, or even at the airport or in flights, you're going to have cool air most of the time, so it's not really going to be an issue. The one thing that I find a bit odd is the sheer size of it, because it is definitely massive. Now, it is nice that this folds in, so even if you want to take the headphones off and put them around your neck when you're moving around in the airport, it is a convenience factor that they collapse. But if you're a much taller person than I am, I presume the size of it won't bother you as much as it does me. On a feature front, these are limited because Yamaha has tried to keep the app very basic, and I quite like the fact that it doesn't let you fiddle too much with it, because I have used some other apps from other companies which have pages worth of information, and it can get a bit distracting. Those kind of systems are fun to fiddle with when you've got nothing to do at the airport, if you have no media to consume, I suppose. But this method ensures that you are engrossed in your media, be it your movies or even your music. The active noise cancelling may not be the best in the industry, but I don't see that to be a real bother because it does what it has to do. It gets rid of the lower rumble and the noise of the engines when you're flying. If you're more into having the latest in technology and the best active noise cancelling in the market, these headphones are definitely not for you. I think Yamaha has leaned more towards working on better sound than anything else. I have grown to like the listening care feature on all of their earphones and headphones, but this is one set that I strongly believe hasn't needed listening care for that boost. In fact, I think they need to tune it maybe slightly differently, because at least to me, there's too much bass even at lower volumes. It's not that it drowns out the mid frequencies, it's just there's too much of it happening. I wish there was a little bit less. And at the same time, this doesn't work with the headphones controller app, so you don't even have an equalizer to play with. So you'll have to use an equalizer in your phone if you want to play around with it, or a third-party app. But overall, when it comes to the sound, for a set of closed backs, these are quite good. There is good detail recovery with these. The highs and mids have good detail despite being so elevated in the bass. Usually a setup like this eats into the mid frequencies a hell of a lot, but it stayed clear of doing that. This tuning may not appeal to the audiophile, but I can see a lot of people enjoying this. But then again, if you're looking from an audiophile perspective, for example, if I'm traveling and I really want to carry my high-res gear, there's no way that I'm going to risk taking some of my high-end gear on a flight or whatever, because I don't want those to get damaged. This is something I don't mind carrying on a flight if I'm going to visit my mum or another city altogether, and having these as a casual listening set of headphones, because they keep me entertained with movies. Bass factor for action scenes will be terrific. There is good detail recovery, good enough for me to enjoy my music, but I would prefer to plug it into a cable with my portable player, because I don't like the compression factor with Bluetooth anyway. But considering how large these are, I don't see people using these for their runs or walks in the evening. This is the kind of scene where they'll use it, where they're traveling, or even if they want to come home and wind down at the end of the day, kick your feet up, listen to some music, maybe have a juice. It's not really the type of headphone that you'd wear if you were going to a mall, or if you were just going for a stroll in the evening. I wouldn't really categorize this along with audiophile gear. This is more of a portable setup, because it's got the convenience of Bluetooth, and you've got the plus point of being able to plug this in and even use them as a high-res set of headphones. Building up to these headphones with all the other products I've reviewed over the last 2 weeks, I really didn't think that Yamaha were fans of bass, or at least the exaggeration of it like these have, because all of those, there's a slight obsession towards a trueness of sound. This one, I'd say it's not really as true as some of those other earphones that I've tested, but this is enjoyable. It's definitely going to appeal to a lot more people. At least this one's signature is going to appeal to a lot more people than the way a lot of their other earphones have been tuned. So how much do these cost? Well, at the time of recording this, Yamaha has recently launched these, so they will be expanding to Amazon pretty soon. But as of today, they are available on the Yamaha website for an MRP of 29,900. So it'll be worthwhile toggling between the websites. I'll leave the links down below to see where you can get a better deal, because I'm sure there will be some sort of discounts going on at some point of time. And if you're still here, I presume you do like the content on my channel, and if you would like to support it, I'm sure you know exactly how to. I hope I've helped you make some sort of purchase decision, but of course, thank you for tuning into Paul's POV for some sound advice.